Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, November the 16th, and I was running late today. I had to make a stop before work, so I was unable to record today's positive affirmations. But what was on my heart last night and today is to just kind of speak a little bit about, or to those that are currently suffering or have experienced low self-esteem. I think that oftentimes we find ourselves in friendships and relationships, even as children, that we have experienced like verbal and mental abuse. And people can say, and I think to me, one of the biggest lies that I was ever told was that words don't hurt. Words do hurt. And so I know that there have been things that have been said to myself, as a child, whether positive or negative, it still sticks. It doesn't go away. And so I think it's very important to be mindful of the words that we speak, especially when we're speaking into kids, because those things do not just go away. So telling them things that they're fat, they're ugly, you just like your daddy, you ain't gonna be nothing when you grow up, all those things could either be a motivator or it can be a encouragement to have low self-esteem, even begin to self-harm, and also suicidal ideation. And so those of you that don't know, I currently work at a psych hospital for kids. And so our kids are typically placed in this psychiatric facility because they are a threat to themselves or someone else. So they're homicidal or suicidal or a combination of both. And so it's very important that you speak life into kids and to adults as well. Because we're adults doesn't mean we're exempt from certain things, and our words have power. And so that's why I began to recite positive affirmations, because words have power both from a negative and a positive perspective. And so there's been many years that I've spoken negativity, and I still do, and sometimes those things come into play as well. And so I believe that, words have power from a negative standpoint and also from a positive standpoint. So that's why it is very important to me to continue to think and to recite and to believe the words that I say. And I've definitely, like I shared in a video previously, a couple weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, I believe that me reciting positive affirmations has been helpful to me. I don't look at myself the same. When I'm reciting them, I'm smiling. I'm like, I get it, And so, I know that men and women, women and men both have found themselves, and I'm sorry, I'm at work, so I'm kind of looking away, have found themselves in situations that are mentally, verbally abusive. And so you begin to believe those things. If somebody tells you long enough, you fat, you ugly, you this, you that, eventually you're going to start to believe it or begin to doubt yourself. And so that's why I think it's very important that you combat that negativity with something positive. And the reality is we all have, certain things that we're insecure about or not the most confident about, but you can still retrain that thinking as well. And so I apologize. I'm not focused. I'm really tired, actually. I just had a situation with the kid, borderline having to restrain him. So I'm just trying to kind of regroup. And so, I think it's important that that and you believe that you're loved, that you are accepted, that you're beautiful, you're intelligent, you are full of life, you're fun, you're, all those things that sometimes you don't feel. And so we all have our down moments, but I think it's very important that you don't stay there. And I also believe it's okay to not be okay. But we also have to identify like positive supports in our lives that we can be honest with, and that can kind of hold us accountable and kind of help us get back on track. Because life, sometimes I get irritated with people, but life is not intended to be lived alone. And so we can't do it alone. We need the support of others, but we need the support of people that we can trust. And so we need we need to be able, to talk to people that we can trust. And then, for those that are advocates, which I personally am, of therapy, talk therapy, I think is very helpful. It's definitely been helpful for me over the years. And I think that, it's something that we should seek. And so, don't try not to. I'm not going to say don't, because it's not that simple. It's not that cut and dry. But try not to allow the negativity of others to change or alter your perception of yourself. Because really, I said this a few days ago in a positive affirmation, my opinion of myself is really the only one that matters. I have to give an account for myself at the end of this life, and no one else's perspective is going to be taken into perspective. And so, how you feel about yourself will set you up for, basically how you feel about yourself, other people are going to be able to pick up on that, and so they're going to treat you accordingly. And so me personally, certain people may have a certain experience with a certain person, and I'm like, oh, I don't have that experience with them, because I don't just accept just anything. And so if you feel confident, you walk into a room, you demand respect, you're going to get that. Are you going to have some people that's going to try you? Of course. But be confident. When I was younger, I used to walk like with my head down. It wasn't like head down, but when I walk, I would have my head down as I was walking. That makes no sense to me. Now, please, my head is straight up. Because first of all, I need to see where I'm going, what's ahead of me. So no, don't, I keep saying don't, and I want to kind of change that, but please do not allow people to try to get a rise out of you. Somebody did that to me the other day, and I was like, I just ignore people. Like, I don't feed into it. I try not to, because it's going to be draining for me. And so I'm in control of my life. I'm the captain of this ship. And so I try not to allow people to just change my perception of myself, because at the end of the day, I live my life. I know who I am. And so once you know who you are, can't nobody really tell you too much about yourself. So people give me feedback, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm self-aware. I'm aware of that, but I do appreciate other people's perspective, because sometimes we don't see things, when we're just looking from our point of view. And so, just know today, whether you're male or female, you are beautiful, you are loved, you are supported, you are necessary, you are needed, you are enough, you have always been enough, and you will always be enough. No matter how you feel right now, you are enough. And the reality is, sometimes we don't feel these things, and that's okay, but let's still say it, and eventually we will begin to believe it. You are beautiful, you are enough, you are loved, you are supported, you are necessary, you are resilient, you are loved. That's the biggest thing, is love. Love, love, love. If you don't love yourself, how can you love others? It's not possible. And so, yeah, the life that we live is necessary. The things that we've experienced in life were necessary, maybe not for ourselves, but maybe for someone else's benefit. And so I believe that the things that we experience, we could teach someone else or share our experience with someone else, and hopefully prevent them from making those same decisions, or to just kind of alter their kind of thinking or their thought process, or where they're headed on their path. And so I try to believe that things that happened to me, it wasn't just for me, or it didn't just affect me negatively. It could, eventually be used to benefit or affect someone positively. And so let's kind of think of things outside of ourselves. It's just so much. Mental health is very important. I talked a little bit about mental and verbal abuse. I was talking to someone yesterday about the effects of mental and verbal abuse. The thing about physical abuse, physical scars heal naturally, typically, depending on the scar or the injury. But mental and verbal abuse, you never know really how long of an effect that's going to have. And so, especially if you're not talking to someone about it, and not getting that support, it's going to typically be long lasting, and it's going to follow you into other relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, your relationships with friends, your relationship with coworkers. Oh, the police. Oh, they done called the police over here to the hospital. Okay. Anyway, I don't think I've ever seen that happen. But yeah. So sorry, my battery's going dead, and they called the police on this kid, I guess. So yeah, mental health. I work in a mental health facility. I've worked in mental health in some aspect for the last 2009, it's 2021. So that's why it's very important. That's why I'm an advocate for self-care. I take my days off. I can feel it when I'm working and it's too much. And I'm PRN on my job, so I have the flexibility to be able to change my days, which I thank God for. More police are coming. So yeah, protect yourself. It's a lot. I know I'm rambling, but the biggest thing was that self-esteem. Love yourself and demand love from others, or don't even engage with them if they can't love you and respect you. And respect is to me is an aspect of love. If you tell me you love me and you don't respect me, it's dead. So I'm going to continue to be encouraged by others. Someone on my YouTube channel made a couple comments today, and I appreciate it. They encouraged me to continue to share these positive affirmations, and that it's helpful for them. Again, I went back to say, I began this journey last year for my own personal benefit, and here I am a year and a half later, and even if it's just one seed that's sown, it still can be beneficial to someone else. So it's not in vain. The things that we've experienced, the things that we've encountered are not in vain. It may not be for us right now. It may not be for us ever again in the future, but it could be for the benefit of someone else. And so, yeah, take a deep breath, retrain your thinking. That was very hard for me. I'm almost 40 years old, and I've lived with a negative mindset for at least 36 and a half of those years. So to retrain my thinking has not been easy, and I have my days. It's okay to not be okay, but the biggest thing is that we cannot stay down. We cannot stay there. And depression is a deep, dark hole. That's the way I describe it. I don't really know how else to describe it, and I've been there. And I think a lot of us have been there if we're honest with ourselves and with others. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. Even the strongest people need support. I consider myself a pretty strong person, but at the same time, I still need support. I need somebody I can be honest with. I need accountability. I need, encouragement. I need all those things. And so if you feel some type of way, speak up. Because it was on my heart real heavy last night before I was going to bed about a particular person and just the experiences that they've encountered in relationships and how I feel like it plays out into who they are now as a woman and as a parent. And so again, those generational things, we'll get there some other time, but you don't want to continue to repeat the cycle. Just because your parents did it or your grandparents did something doesn't mean that you have to repeat the cycle. You have one or two options. You can repeat whatever they've done, whether, negative, positive, or you can go do something opposite. And so it's your choice. We have the ability to make decisions, and there are natural consequences for both positive and negative decisions. And so I'm rambling again. Like I said, I'm tired. But just, just seek support. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others. Love yourself. Demand love and respect from others. Do not engage if you don't feel like you're being respected or loved. You don't have to. You can love people from afar, family, friends, or strangers. It doesn't matter. Protect your peace. Protect your peace. Okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to actually post this as a YouTube video. Yeah. So that's my affirmation for today. We are loved. I am loved. I am enough. I have always been enough, and I will always be enough. I am resilient. I am an overcomer. I am necessary. I am forgiven, and I am forgiving. I am beautiful. And if you don't believe that today, hopefully, you keep saying it enough and looking in that mirror, you're going to begin to believe it. And if you don't believe it, just say that I believe it. I believe you're beautiful. So just, even if you might not be physically attractive or whatever to everybody like what they like, but you are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image. So you are beautiful. Okay? So I'm going to end there. I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go back to work. I hope you guys have a great day. And if you have any concerns or any questions or any comments, please feel free to comment. Okay? Let's continue the conversation. Let's continue to be there, support each other, because times are still hard. Mid-pandemic, whatever you want to call it, people are going through a lot. So let's reach out. Let's encourage one another, and let's be supportive. Okay? Hope you guys have a great day.